You know, people of color in this country always joke that we have a PhD in white people because we've been forced to study them. But you actually have the bona fides. You have the PhD. You have the degree. You have the books. And we have a phenomenon right now in America. And this phenomenon is Herschel Walker. And explain to us the recent news where Herschel Walker yet again lied, yet again fathered another child. Not just fathered another child from another woman, paid for the abortion of his girlfriend. We literally have the receipts.
Literally.
And all the data shows and all the reporting shows that the white evangelical Christians and MAGA are like, nobody's perfect. Explain to us Herschel Walker and his relationship with white evangelicals.
Well, first of all, one thing you got to understand about white evangelicals, I don't cover this in the book, but I think this is really important. They love sports. And Herschel Walker was a great football player. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. So first of all, he's the perfect person to be running in Georgia, right? Second, he can do no wrong. I mean, as Dana Loesch said, he just paid for some skank to have an abortion. I mean, and that's really what the evangelicals are thinking, except they won't say it like Dana Loesch said it out loud, okay? So here's the thing. The way the evangelicals think about this now is that your sins can be forgiven if you're on our side. If you're not on our side, then you are a reprehensible person who does not get forgiveness, okay? So Herschel Walker can get forgiveness, Donald Trump can get forgiveness, but you and I, if we did anything that breaks their code of morality, would not get forgiveness, okay? So that's number one. Number two, they could care less that Senator Raphael Warnock has a PhD from Union Seminary and is the Reverend of Ebenezer Baptist Church. They are dead set on calling him not Christian, and they are looking for any excuse to make him look bad so that they can pump up Herschel Walker. Third thing, Herschel Walker right now, I'm not sure about this man. I mean, he has said some really ridiculous things. I am a football lover, but I'm starting to think that, I know that CTE is real, but I'm just wondering what is going on with him. I have to be honest and say that out loud, because I think that his mannerism is to do whatever he does to please white people. And in this particular case, he is dead set on pleasing his white handlers who have brought him into this race and made him think that he could win. So this is why on Tuesday, after this story broke in the Daily Beast, they were laying hands on him at First Baptist Church and calling out the devil and hoping that the devil would not, get him out of the race, to protect him from all of these snares, basically. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they have 100 receipts. It wouldn't matter if they saw that woman walk into the abortion clinic with him. They would still be behind him 100%.
Danielle, if I may, real quick, just mention one point that when it comes to the CTE, right, and we don't know, but even Newt Gingrich came out and said, I think he got hit on the head a bunch of times, but it's okay. So it's like, wait a second, if you're acknowledging that this person is not mentally fit, why are you still backing him for Senate? And they still don't care. And I'm so happy you mentioned the Dana Loesch quote, because she straight up said, I couldn't care less. I want control of the Senate.
Well, she said, I don't care what he she said, I don't care what he aborted. Like, I don't care what he aborts. I want the Senate.
Yeah, she wants it done. I think she said baby eagles or something like that. It was something crazy. But here's the thing. I mean, both Dana Loesch and Newt are onto something. And basically what it is that he's going to be their puppet. They want him done. This is exactly what it is. And one of the things, I haven't talked about this, but I think this is the right show to talk about it. One of the things that's been really interesting to me is how they show Herschel Walker all the time. They've always got a white woman standing with her hand on him, right? As though he's like, look, he's really docile. He's not going to do anything, right? It's an image. It is an image that is conjured up for people so that when these white people in Georgia see this, they're like, oh, okay, he's not bad at all. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene next to him. Look at all these people standing next to him. He's one of that we can control him. That is the whole point of those pictures.
Let me tell you something. Yes. So my feelings about Herschel Walker and about the Republicans' representation of him, to me, is what they believe and want Black men to be. And if you are not docile, if you are not submissive, if you are not stupid, right? then you are a danger and a problem. And so to put up, so it has been really interesting because I've listened to both Charles Blow and Professor Brittany Cooper on, who Cooper went on Twitter, and I mean the brilliant academic read that she provided on the layers of racism that are at play here, I think are extraordinary. And the question that I have for you, Professor Butler, is this: white America doesn't have a lot of nuance when it comes to Black folks and their understanding of Black people. Like Waj said at the top of the show, like, we as white people, and James Baldwin said this as well, we have been forced to have to look at and assimilate to and understand white culture in order to protect ourselves, right? In order to protect, but they have never had to look at us. Yeah. And so when they look at us, it's the image of Herschel Walker that they want to see. And when they don't see that compliance, when they don't see that malleability, right, we become a danger and a problem. And so I want you to speak to, the understanding that these people are not God-fearing people. These people are, whenever I hear white evangelical Christians, all I hear is racist. And I know that that is what I hear. And so I want you to unpack the difference between just regular white racists and white evangelical Christians that have taken over the Republican Party.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is really interesting. The difference is, white racists just admit to be a white racist, and it's easy, right? I mean, the racist is different than the racist that tries to fake it, and white evangelicals are the ones that are trying to fake it. And what they do, and why I explain this in my book, is they have done this throughout history. They like to tell a story about themselves. They believe that they were abolitionists and they went to go do missions work and they helped fight communism. And, maybe they weren't on the right side of civil rights, but okay, they came around. And so now we have Black people who can sing in front of our, revivals like Billy Graham had. Right. And we want them to have better schools and we want them to not have abortion. So that's the story they tell about themselves. Right. Here's the reality. The reality is they were slaveholders. They divided churches because of slavery, because they wanted to hold slaves. They were on the wrong side of the Confederacy. They were the ones that were hanging Black folks and lynching people in Reconstruction and Redemption. OK, they are the ones who in the civil rights movement went to create, Christian schools so that they didn't have to be around Black people and they didn't have to do Brown versus Board. Okay. So they're the ones who were rejoicing when Martin Luther King died. They're the ones who decided that we needed to get on this, but they also fought the IRS because they didn't want to integrate schools like Bob Jones, right? They are the ones who did all sorts of things, including George Bush's, compassionate conservatism so that they'd be able to get the right kind of Black people, the right kind of money so that the rest of these Negroes would shut up. And that's exactly what it was. And then when Barack Obama became president, they lost their natural minds. Because what you can't have is a Black man being president. And that's why we begin to see this downward spiral and the racism becoming so rampant that you see them glomming onto Donald Trump, while they had a whole slate back in 2015 of evangelical candidates like Ted Cruz and others that they could have got behind, but they got behind the thrice married, pea-grabbing man. And they loved him because
promoted the birther conspiracy.
Yes, exactly.
Who promoted the birther conspiracy?
Yeah, exactly. But, how did he promote the birther conspiracy? Alongside what evangelical? Franklin Graham. Okay, never forget, Franklin Graham is in the middle of all of this stuff.
And the son of Billy Graham.
Exactly.
The idyllic, romanticized white male evangelical who unites America.
Yeah, he wasn't in America.
Yeah.
He wasn't united.
I want to go into this a little bit because the use and abuse of people of color by a racist Republican Party to promote their agenda, but also to shield their racism is so disgusting that it makes me want to vomit, right?
Yep.
And it's not just Black folks. I'm South Asian. Anyone who's been colonized or has been subjected to white supremacy, in your communities that there are folks who want to be white or think they're white or who cape for whiteness. And you're seeing Herschel Walker do it. You're seeing Winsome Sears in Virginia. You're seeing Candace Owens. And I want to recite a quote because I just think this is such an exquisite quote. This is what Ginny Thomas, married to Clarence Thomas, this is what one of Ginny Thomas's aunts said in 1991. She told the Washington Post that Clarence Thomas was, quote, so nice, we forgot he was black. He treated her so well, all of his other qualities made up for his being black, end quote. So you take that, and I ask you, because you've done research into this, black men in particular who allow themselves to be used as this Manchurian candidate, what's their mindset? Do they truly believe that they're independent? Are they just doing an okey doke? We're like, it's okay, I'm going to get paid. Do they just fall for the Ginny Thomas vagina, which is so spectacular that it makes them like forget their blackness?
I'm sorry.
I literally just threw up in my mouth. What in the world?
I might have to quit this interview because my eyes just went into crosses right now because I really don't want to think about that.
Wajahat Ali.
That was a bridge too far for me. So we're gonna go back to the other two because, like, I do not even. I mean, no.
Radical times require radical analogies and images, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a radical analysis. That's a bridge too much for me because I'm just like, no.
Walk it back, Professor Butler. We can walk back to the other side.
I'm gonna walk it back. Here's what I'm gonna say. It's not the okey doke. I don't even think it's the last thing. Although some people. I can't account for taste. That's all I'm going to say. But here's the thing. I think that these black men who are like, Clarence Thomas or anybody else are thinking about how can I be part of power? And whiteness is power. And I think that's what we miss here is that there's a sense in which for Herschel Walker, Clarence Thomas, all these people, Candace, she's married to a rich, white man from England. I mean, you can't get no whiter than that, right? A rich British guy. I mean, that's like the epitome of whiteness, right? She didn't even go for an American dude. She went for a British dude. And
red-headed too. That's the whitest of the white.
Right? That's the white genes, and gonna beat every piece of black gene out of that baby that they had. So anyway, here's the thing. What you have to realize is that people do this because they want to be accepted. They want to have power. They want access to it. They are not comfortable in their own skin. They do not identify, and you can hear this from a lot of people. They don't identify with, struggle or the struggles of other African Americans or Latinos or Asian Americans or South Asians or anybody, any group that we could come up with right now. They don't want to identify with those groups. They want to identify with the group that's in power. And what America really does very well is show you white men in power. And so Clarence has risen to this point, which he was able to, get into the Supreme Court despite, Anita Hill telling the truth about him. And he had support from people back then. And he got in, including, let's not forget, Joe Biden. Okay. Yep. I think this is worth saying to remember this. And so now what we have are people who are making clear choices about this. So when you see somebody like Kanye come up and put Black Lives Matter on a t-shirt, he's not even subtle about it. He's just basically saying, yes, to me, that this is what matters in life. And that's it. I don't even know that he's worth commenting on, quite frankly, because it's just the, extension of everything else that's out here in the ether with people like Herschel Walker.